Llama talk. What's up, dude? Woo! That's what I'm talking about. Big Brother Canada, week one. We're gonna recap it now. We just finished the Survivor, podcast. I'm still not done talking. I'm still as excited as ever to, you know, talk shit about the contestants.
It's hard to not be excited about Big Brother when Survivor's kind of really lackluster right now, and we can actually watch the feeds now and stuff. Well, we don't watch them, but we pay attention to them and stuff. And I'm really pumped. I'm really pumped about this. I don't know. I love Big Brother.
Yeah, I've been actually watching a little bit of the feeds.
Uh-huh.
I haven't been doing that much on the feeds right now. I've only watched I've only popped on there a few times and watched for a few minutes. But in this podcast we're going to talk about episodes 1 and 2, but spoilers will be present about the last the events that's happened after the eviction, and that's might just be happening throughout the whole podcast. So, I mean, viewer discretion is advised. But what did you think about week one? I mean, I felt like for the majority of the house guests, our original assessment of them was pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, um, you know, meeting all the house guests, I think that's always exciting. There were a few that really stood out. I thought I liked Kevin, and I really do like Kevin. He's a great character. I thought I wouldn't like Jordan. I'm actually really liking Jordan a lot. I didn't think I liked Zach as much as I would. I like Zach a lot. I like Willow a lot. Willow's really, really funny. I thought Risha would bring a little bit more to the table, but when she was evicted and during the veto competition, she didn't really do that much that made me really want to keep her around over Kylie. And Sydney, as much as she annoys me, Sydney with an S, I want her to stay around because she seems like a really big target that people will be after, and I think she's actually has it in her to cover up. If smart players are smart, they keep her around because she seems to have a big target on her just because of that first impression.
I disagree with you about Jordan, just because I don't know, just because after the first episode, you he nominated Cindy and Risha, which is the two safest people to nominate, and then
Yeah.
when Cindy nominates Peely, he goes into the diary room and he's like, oh my god, Cindy is so stupid, not making a big move and nominating a bigger target. It's okay, you nominated people, in the diary room in private, and you did the two safest nominations. When that's the time, that's if any time to, just throw up, Kevin and Zach or whatever, that's when you do it. I mean, expecting Cindy to take a big threat and just put him right on the block. I mean, Cindy did the smartest thing, and then she, Cindy's going home next most likely, but I feel like she was able to kind of gain back Peely's trust, and I'm surprised she turned out that veto, honestly. But I didn't like how Jordan was immediate. I just feel like he reminds me of Peter from Big Brother Canada, and.
Yeah.
That's not particularly a good thing. Peter has his haters.
I mean, yeah, I know. Peter's not a good player. But I don't know. I've been watching the live feeds a lot, and I really growing to like Jordan a lot more. But yeah, I can definitely see hypocrites are hypocrites. A lot of people are hypocrites and stuff. And it's easy for one person when they're not in the position of making a decision like that to be oh, how could you not put up a big player on the block, But I think the huge difference is that he did his in secrecy and stuff like that, and she actually gets to choose who to nominate. Not other people's votes matter. It's her actual choice of who to nominate as a nominee. And I don't know. I feel if you had that, you have a lot of power. You have a lot of power in the house to actually choose who's going to be the nominee if you're not the HOH.
I feel like it was kind of just bull. I feel bad for Cindy because even though she was annoying with like the Cindy with an S thing, I felt like the twist shouldn't have been. I feel like they should have had like the House vote again and collectively decide another third person. I feel like making her decide who goes up next because I feel like she got on the block and she won veto. That should be it. It should she was able to turn out that veto victory, and she shouldn't have to get more blood on her hands. Like it was
Mm-hmm.
already hard enough for her being on the block and almost going home,
Yeah.
but to like on top of that add insult to injury by making her choose another nominee, I just feel like it put a larger target on her back. I hated the twist. I
Mm-hmm.
hated how they didn't have any live feeds on, and they had an edited, you know,
Yeah.
at one single edited episode for us to decide who's going home. I thought it was a horrible, horrible twist.
Yeah. It's really stupid that they didn't have live feeds so we couldn't get any perspective on like who the two people are and stuff like that. And furniture. I mean, that was funny for a while, but like it was kind of I don't know. It wasn't like they earned things back one at a time. It's like they got it all back and like everything's good now and stuff. And it wasn't that big of a twist that like huge like vault thing, I guess,
It was a
And
waste of fucking time. Wait,
yeah,
complete waste of time. So stupid. Just a gimmick to like, oh my god, they have nothing. They walk in, there's nothing there. Oh my god, this is so different from other Big Brother seasons I've seen. This has never happened. And then literally the next episode, they just have hold a fucking balloon on top of their head. Like they can just lay down, take a nap, and just have the balloon on them. And I mean, the only good moment from that was obviously Kevin sabotaging it, which I thought how he did it was really smart.
hmm
And I like Kevin and all, but I feel like he should be playing more under the radar. He should
yeah,
be um, like people like Kevin and Jordan.
hmm
They're not. They're like I just they remind me of Alec and Peter from the first season, and they're not going to win. People like Emmett are the ones who have a better chance of winning. You know, the best thing for Kevin to do is just like actually play dumb. Like,
yeah. But I feel like
be
he does. He does that a lot. I
no, no,
feel
no.
like he,
He's like being silly and goofy and stuff, but he's not like like he's not like Greg dumb, and he should be Greg dumb. Like people like he's not doing it good enough because he was gonna go home this week if he didn't win veto, which he did win veto luckily, but he was
yeah,
gone. So he
yeah,
did not do a good enough job. Like I think everybody, like Big Brother Canada people, they're smart, they're self-aware, they
uh-huh,
imagine, themselves watching the pregame interviews. Everyone pinpointed Kevin as the one to watch, and they can do the same thing there. Like they can
yeah.
just see it.
I mean, like Kevin did have like a big like threat on his back because he was like really close to Johnny, and everyone's really afraid of Johnny for some reason. But they also like use it. I think Bobby used it as an excuse because he like was really afraid of Kevin and stuff like that. And let me tell you, Bobby fucking reminds me so much of Caleb, and Greg reminds me so much of fucking Devin. They're stupid. They're so stupid. But anyway, Kevin did what he needed to do when he found out he was nominated. He listened, he got information, and he heard that Sydney wanted to target Zach and Greg, I think, and he got that back to the boys, was able to like form kind of an alliance. Like they're calling it the Boys Alliance now, and they think it's like girls versus boys, but it's not really that. But he
Hmm.
was able to like take that information, get it back to them, and Bobby was like, you know what? If I win this, I'm taking you off. I'm putting Cindy on, but you owe me and stuff like that. And I feel like a lot of people, because who plays in the veto? I think it was Willow was playing in the veto too, and Zach was playing in the veto. And I
And
feel like
and
they
so
both would
was
have.
and Godfrey was also playing, I think.
Yeah, Godfrey was playing, and um, I feel like Kevin did exactly what he needed to do. And I mean, I was getting nervous for a while because I'm like, oh, they're totally gonna get rid of Kevin. They're totally gonna get rid of Kevin. But Kevin like played it cool. He heard some information. he used it in a way he needed to use it to get the target off his back, and now like the whole house is kind of like against each other, and Kevin's name isn't mentioned until like they're like, oh yeah, maybe like 3 votes down, we'll get rid of Kevin or something like that, and
Well,
that really pushed
yeah.
it far.
I just feel like Kevin has no. Trust me, we're on the same page with Kevin. Like I'm rooting for Kevin. I like
Mhm.
Kevin. He was he was probably going to go him versus Brittany.
Yeah.
I mean, if he didn't win veto, it would be extremely stupid for them not to send Kevin home. But I feel like Kevin's chances of winning are probably some of the worst in the cast right now. I feel like
Well,
Kevin, it's hard. I mean, obviously you can rebound. It's just week one. You can
uh,
rebound, but like it's like he's kind of just going to be walking on eggshells this entire time. He's already proven that you don't want to have to pull out like a clutch veto win week
mhm.
one.
Yeah.
Because even if he throws more competitions, they know that he's clutch and he can pull out a veto win when he needs to, and that's scary. So I want Kevin to make it far, but I just
Mhm.
feel like he's going to have a hard time shaking this target off his back. Even if people are saying like 3 votes from now, 4 votes from now, I can't help but feel like next week they might just be like, Kevin's scaring us again, or 3 weeks from now, it's going to be. I mean, anything can change in the Big Brother house, but things are looking pretty scary for Kevin right now.
But I mean, that's the thing, though. It's like anything can change in like a matter of like a few days. Kevin could totally be running the house, and Zach, who I arguably thinks playing the best game right now, could be the number one target. And that's
I
why I think we can't really judge that. And going back to last season, Heather, at the beginning of the game, she was up against Paul, and her whole alliance wanted to blindside her, get rid of her, keep Paul the bigger target around, and she stayed around, and she had a huge target on her back, and she was able to get over that and make it to fourth. I don't
that's true.
necessarily think his mistakes right now will dictate what goes on farther in the game. It's a long game, and people change their mind like that, and he can use that to his advantage. I don't think he's defeated yet.
I know. I'm just looking at it from like my point of view. If I'm in there, I'm doing everything I can to make sure Kevin doesn't win. But also, if I'm there, I'm doing everything in my power to make sure Kevin makes it, to the theoretical merge, like the jury phase
Uh huh.
of because like people are like when you think about it logically, like I kind of if I was in the house, I want you want bigger threats than you to make it
Mm-hmm.
further. So I feel like Bobby, he's an idiot. I don't think he's smart. He does remind me a lot of Caleb, but I think if they send home Cindy at the end of the day, it's exactly like Pow Pow. Like
Mm-hmm.
Cindy reminds me so much of Pow Pow, and she's gonna go home second most likely, uh, just like just like Pow Pow did. But I don't think Bobby's gonna do very well either. I think Ashley is playing a pretty good game.
Ashley's playing a really good game. She's
I
she's
I think
got
she's
all the
yeah she's like
yeah.
rivaling Zach in my opinion. I think Zach's
Mhm.
playing a really good game, but people who are playing really good game this early
Yeah.
aren't playing a really good game because they're not going to be able to keep it up. You know,
Mhm. I
I
feel
think
like the
yeah. Go
person
ahead.
playing the best the person playing the best game at this time last season was Kenny, and Kenny didn't even make it to the jury. You know, so arguably, well, maybe Kenny or Arlie at this point, but you can't really say like, oh, they're playing the best game, they're totally gonna make it to the end together. It's like, nah, we can't say what's gonna happen, but as of now, I feel like Zach is playing a really good game. Ash is playing a really, really good game. She's got Kevin in her pocket, she's got Bobby in her pocket, and she's got like most of like the chop syrup in her pocket. Um,
Bobby is like
Jordan,
Bobby is really really in her pocket. Like
yeah,
Bobby's just been acting like pathetic. I was watching the feed for a little bit and it's just like Bobby is smitten. But I
yeah,
think that someone who's not on people's well we haven't talked about them yet. I think that Sarah is playing a pretty good game also right now.
Sarah reminds me a lot of Nana for some reason. I just feel like this was a spot Nana was at the beginning of her game, trying to feel out everyone, trying to watch everyone. The thing I love about Sarah is like she doesn't try to rush this game. She says, oh, I see Zach's playing a really good game. I'm gonna follow Zach's lead. And when the time's right, I'm gonna like take this game. And that's what I feel like Netta would kind of do. And she definitely did it like last season and stuff. And I feel like Sarah definitely like right now she's not playing that great of a game, but like she's never on anyone's radar. Jordan's never on anyone's radar, and those people I feel like are the ones that are actually going to end up running the game.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm thinking that Sarah, Ashley, and Zach. Like I agree with you. I feel like those are like three really really people who are playing solid games. Willow. I think that her name's not really being brought up to be eliminated, and she's on my fantasy team, so I should be rooting for her. But I just feel like after watching the live feeds, I'm getting some Sharon vibes from her. I feel like she's annoying me a lot on the live feeds. She's being really annoying.
Well, I feel like Willow, there are times where when I actually see her strategize, she knows what she's doing a lot.
No, she knows what she's doing. She knows what she's doing. I'm just saying personality-wise, she's like, she's been pretty annoying. She's like one of those types of people who, you're in the Big Brother house, you're like, oh my God, I need to, really, form social relationships. I need to strengthen these bonds. I need to talk all the time, talk. And I feel like there's no peace, in solitude with her. There's no ability to be like, okay, things are quiet, and that's okay right now. Yeah. And just from what little I've seen, it's just like there's a lot of kind of nonsense, annoying stuff that would really get on my nerves if I was with her. It's not like whenever I see conversations with Sarah, I feel like the conversation's moving normally. She's saying stuff when she's supposed to say it, and I feel like with Willow, it's just like boom, 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 it's like an active effort of trying to maintain a conversation.
I mean, yeah, I definitely get you can't control your personality and stuff like that, but I think the game she's trying to play right now is, her name was thrown around a bit by Sydney and by Kevin, and the Chop Shop's really thinking oh, is she working the other side too? And she says she is, but it's for their benefit and stuff, so they're really questioning her and stuff. And I think she's really just trying to play the Sabrina role right now. She said she's been crying a lot today on the live feed, and she's been oh, I'm the Sabrina of BB Can 3. And even if that doesn't mean a lot, that puts it in people's heads. I can take her to the end. So I feel like she's really trying to plant that in people's minds right now. The thing I love about this cast is that everyone's playing a good game, kind of from my perspective. I'm like, wow, there are a lot of different games that are going on right now. It's a lot more interesting than last BBUS season. There's a lot of good players. I really like. Let's talk about Godfrey. Okay.
Well, what about Greg? Do you think he's playing? Do you think he's a great game player?
Greg is so stupid.
I fucking hate Greg.
Greg is a person you're gonna want to keep around though. All the good players are gonna be fighting to keep Greg around. I feel because he's such a big target, but I don't think he's gonna make the jury at all. And I feel like he's someone they know they can keep around because it's he reminds me so much of Andrew from last season too. And they're oh, if there is a Canada HOH, we know he's probably gonna go up.
I think he reminds me of I liked Andrew in BB Can 1. I think he's kind of similar to Andrew in terms of strategy. I like Andrew's personality more, but I hate Greg. But if I was in there, he seems this seems like a pretty smart cast, and it doesn't seem like there's a lot of woos and Codys, people who would make the wrong decision at the final 3 and bring you along even though you play better. But I think Greg is one of those people that, might make that stupid decision. So if I'm in there, I'm keeping Greg for a while. but I
Mhm.
think that we can both agree we could probably just do a separate like fuck Greg podcast.
Mhm.
But I mean, I don't like Greg, and I mean, it would take a lot for me to change my mind. But let's talk about Godfrey.
Yeah. Okay, so the House really wanted to nominate Godfrey at first. Coming up to like the nomination ceremony, they like really wanted Bobby, but Bobby decided to put up Kevin instead. And Brittany, I think he was gonna put up. I don't know who he was gonna put up. I know it was originally gonna be Godfrey, but he chose to pick the two people that dropped out of the HOH competition first. And Godfrey has this huge target on his back right now because of something he did. I think he tried to start like an all guys alliance or something like that. But that target has kind of like slowly disappeared. But he's always like the guy where they're like, oh, we can put up Godfrey, but he's not a threat. And that's what like I love about Godfrey is everyone's seeing him as a target that they can use, but he's not a threat, so they don't want to send him home. I think that's exactly what he's trying to do right now. I
I
think
hope
he
they,
knows exactly what he's doing.
yeah, I hope they put, yeah, it's like I was scared about Godfrey at first, but I'm feeling like I think that he's pretty cool. I liked when I hope they show the part where he like tells them to call him God. I just like I thought that was funny. Um, but yeah, it was scary with Godfrey. But yeah, I mean, who would have thought
Yeah,
that Godfrey and Kevin, our first two picks, were like so close to being voted off, like basically first. It's,
yeah,
I mean, but I mean, go big or go home, right?
I know. They were both, full picks. But one thing that happened with today on the live feeds was like Godfrey kind of got like emotional and stuff and was like talking to like Jordan. I think they
Yeah,
call him JP. They call him
yeah.
JP
They
for
call
some
they call him JP, and I didn't see that part, but I saw Jordan talking about it with Kevin
yeah.
afterwards, and I mean, I felt bad because I think that Jordan, I don't know, he was like, yeah, I got like Godfrey's a piece of shit, like I hate that guy, and I got him to cry about all this personal stuff, but like he doesn't mean a thing to me, and I feel like saying that can be true and stuff, but why
Uh-huh.
like why tell that to Kevin who might go around being like, wow, JP's kind of heartless, like, you
Yeah.
know,
But
it kind
here's
of sets, I don't know.
but here's the thing though. Everyone's saying like, oh, JP's really playing the game because he's really doing what he needs to do right now. He's really playing with people's like emotions, and he knows Godfrey's an emotional player and stuff like that, so he was able to play with his emotions. However, I don't think that Godfrey is just going to let people play with his emotions like that. I think that was actually a calculated move by Godfrey to like make people think he's an emotional player, make JP think that he can like use him and he knows what like to expect from Godfrey. But I think Godfrey's actually more just like kind of playing it up for JP and seeing what JP will do with it.
Yeah,
You
and
know?
I would, if I was in the house, I would rather have, JP saying, "Oh, Magnus is a piece of shit," and I made that guy cry today, rather than JP saying, Magnus, he's playing a great game. He's a strategic threat. We have to keep our eyes out on that guy. So I feel like, people like Ashley, people like, Sarah, people, maybe I haven't been watching the live feeds that much, so I don't really know, but maybe people like Bruno or something, they can just kind of,
Bruno's I like Bruno a
yeah.
lot. Yeah.
Bruno, I'm getting kind of Derek vibes from Bruno, just in
Uh-huh.
terms of being like that, father
Older. Yeah.
role, older guy. But I feel like they're the type of people that people don't really notice yet, but they might,
Mhm.
rise up and be big strategic players later on in the game when it actually matters. I feel like people who play the best game, no one has any idea they're playing a good game until later on,
Yeah.
including us.
Yeah. Bruno's good. Bruno kind of gives me like Enzo vibes a bit, where like
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
like he's really with the guys and stuff like that, and like he's not strategic. His name's never been brought up once, but he's just like a really like social player right now, and he seems like he's got Greg like on a string, and he seems like he's kind of got Godfrey on a string right now, and like I don't know, I really like would watch out for Bruno like farther on the game. I don't know, like I feel like it's really too early for his like type of game to come out yet, and we have to wait to like like kind of like die down a bit and stuff like that. So there's that. But yeah, I definitely think Bruno's someone to watch out for.
Yeah, and I think Bruno definitely, sees like, okay, Bobby and Greg are dumbasses, and I want to align with them. They're stupid. Um, but I'm definitely like, we're not even really talking about the two episodes that were actually, you know, because like not much was going on during those episodes. Are you glad that like Risha? I'm glad that Risha was voted off over Peely. I originally kind of want Peely to go home, but I definitely see more potential from Peely than Risha. Risha was alienating herself, and
Yeah,
she didn't really seem into it.
yeah. I feel like if it had gone to a vote, they would have voted out Risha anyway. And
Yeah,
and I feel like one thing about Cindy that I don't like is it's stupid for her to try to form bonds with people that are nominated. Like, why would you want to do that? I mean, I understand if they can win HOH, but I don't think Risha can really like has that great of a shot at winning HOH. Like, why don't you use like you not being nominated to make stronger bonds with like, other people? I don't get why she was like making it such a priority to reach out to Risha and like alienate herself from the group in order to like get closer to Risha. It doesn't really seem like a good strategic move on her part.
What do you think about the potential for Risha to re-enter the house? I don't really like having, straight from the get-go, having the
Mm-hmm.
eliminations not be. I think it's good because it was kind of a bullshit twist to begin with. But I
Mm-hmm.
feel like Risha would have gone home without the twist. I feel like the HOH probably would have put her up and she would have gone home. And I don't like having the precedence for the very beginning of the season being like the eliminations don't matter as much. These people right from the get go have a chance to get back in the game. I like the jury, like second chance around the jury time rather
Mm-hmm.
than the first boot.
Yeah. I mean, it can go either way. It can be like, oh, they never really got a fair shot at the beginning, so here's their second chance. Let's see how good they can do, as opposed to like someone at the jury, like bringing them back in when they're so deep in the game, and that seems kind of unfair to me.
Yeah.
Uh, but
I think that the thing with Gary, having Gary come back at like the fucking final five or something, that's just completely absurd to me.
yeah, yeah,
But yeah, I'm not like excited to see like, oh, a competition between Risha and Cindy and like what were the fucking third person to be voted off? Like it's like fine, I'm not like if Cindy re-enters the game, I'll be like, well, that was anticlimactic.
yeah.
But about like I'm just excited to see the edited, like I'm just excited to see the DRs for
Mhm.
this week, um, because yeah, that's why I wasn't like we're not that pumped for episodes 1 and 2 because they're already behind us and we didn't really even get to see the live feeds for them or how that week actually panned out.
Mhm.
But I don't know. I'm pumped to see like if Godfrey's crying, if he's actually some strategic mastermind,
Yeah.
and I'm excited to see Kevin's point of view on things. I'm really excited for the DRs and the edited episodes.
Yeah. Can I say one thing though? Can we talk about an alliance in the house I think's probably in the best spot right now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Is probably Jordan and Zach right now. Because and I feel like Zach's a lot smarter than he lets on. And I really like Zach for some reason. I didn't think I like him this much, but he definitely like it seems like it's like more like they were joking like, oh, it's brains and bronze and stuff like that. But I feel like it's more like brains and bronze and brains, with Jordan. But
I
like,
feel like I feel like Zach is smarter than Jordan
yeah, yeah.
because
But like,
Zach is smart enough to know that he doesn't have to sound smart and seem smart all the time to be smart. And I feel
yeah,
like originally I thought Zach was going to be the type of person that like, oh, when Bobby is flirting with Ashley all the time to be like jealous or something. But
yeah,
he's like laying back, and
hmm,
obviously people still see him as a threat because just his physique.
yeah,
But I think he's playing a great game. I'm not sure. I'm kind of still getting some Alec and Peter vibes from them, where
yeah,
I feel like it's gonna come crumbling down at like, you know, around the final seven maybe, but
Uh-huh.
they could like feel like Zach. I feel like if Zach is really willing to cut Jordan's throat at that point rather than Alec and Peter just like broke down actually wanting to be final two. If Zach wants to cut Jordan, then I'll be much like better viewing of Zach. But I agree, he's playing a great game.
I feel like they both would do that, but I feel like the strength in their game right now doesn't really come from like who they are and like what they'll bring back on the back like farther into the game. But I feel like it's really smart because Zach is basically in control of Chop Shop, whereas that's like the huge alliance, and he's in, and they really like respect his opinion. A lot of people respect his opinion. He's really close with Naya, and Naya's really close with Sarah and stuff like that. So he has them too. And Jordan really is getting close to the stranglers or the floaters and stuff like that. And like he really makes that like connection with the other side of the house with Kevin. And through Kevin, he like can influence Johnny and stuff like that. And I think when they come together, that's like they're definitely like running the house right now in my eyes.
Yeah, what do you think about Neha? Because I haven't been watching that much of the live feeds, so and obviously she didn't get much airtime at all in the actual episodes. But from what I've heard, people are viewing her as like a really huge threat. And I've watched some live feeds, but I'm not seeing it. So I don't really know what exactly happened to get her, that target. But I feel like she's. I
Can
mean,
I tell you what happened?
yeah. Go ahead.
So basically, Craig mispronounced Naya's name and calls her Netta. And now he thinks she's some fucking mastermind like Netta, and he really, really wants to get her out because he thinks like she's the best. And it's only Greg like thinking this, and Greg like calls her Netta like all the time, and it's really weird.
Okay, well, in that case, I do think Neha's playing. If it's only Greg, then I feel like Neha's playing a pretty good game.
Yeah.
I feel like she's also someone who's you know has a chance to make it pretty far.
Well, I mean,
Unless Greg wins HOH and goes crazy, like a Devon-esque
yeah,
reign as HOH. But I mean,
yeah.
Neha's not much. I mean, I'm not too gung ho about her, but she's not playing horribly.
You think if Greg won HOH, he'd bring Naya up to the HOH room and be like, "Hey, I have a crush on you. I'm not gonna get you out this week."
I mean, he could be. I mean, let's go back to BB16. We didn't have this podcast during BB16, but Devin was amazing, and I just hate like Brittany. Ugh, it made me so mad the week she finally did go home when
Uh-huh.
she's like actually she has a chance to not like if she doesn't shoot all the goals, then
hmm
she won't be able to compete in the veto competition, and she decides to shoot all the goals so she can compete so she can prove that she's a good competitor so people will want to keep her. It's just like the stupidest thing ever because like if you can't compete in the next veto, then that gives people all the reason in the world to keep you another week.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I feel like it would be funny seeing Greg win HOH. It
Yeah.
would it would definitely be funny, but I'm hoping for actually, you know what? Greg is probably pretty likely to win HOH because out of these people, I don't see too many people trying. Like
Yeah.
Kevin and Jordan are going to throw it, and I
Zach
mean,
and Zach and Jordan, Kevin, all those people, they're all going to throw it because they want Greg and Naya to go at it. I mean, if they can do that, great. They're safe for another week, and those two duke it out. I feel like that's what the whole house is at right now.
what do you think about Brittany?
Um, I don't know. I don't really get much from Brittany other than I feel like as like the last time I really like looked at Brittany was like when like she was gonna get nominated and stuff like that, and I feel like maybe it might not have been for sure Kevin was going home because Brittany seemed to like kind of be freaking out, and Kevin seemed a lot more relaxed than her, and like that can really change and like people's perspective of you in the Big Brother house,
But yeah,
like some others. Sorry, go
especially
ahead.
in like a week. Like it's an entire like saying like obviously Kevin was the target when the
Hmm.
nominations were put in place, but like Kevin easily could have stayed at the end of the week even if he didn't win the veto.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know. I really don't know much about Brittany. I thought that in from the edited episodes we saw, I liked Brittany, and I thought that her bond with Sarah was
Hmm.
was pretty good, but I'm really not seeing too much from her on the feeds.
Yeah.
But I mean, if she makes it through this week, which it looks like she's going to, most likely, um, I feel like she has a better, she has an okay shot.
Hmm.
I don't know.
I
Oh, I
don't
was gonna ask you. I was gonna ask you if Kevin purposely, if he threw the HOH, because I always think it's stupid for people to if you're gonna throw it, throw like at least try to make it so you're like in the middle of the pack.
hmm
Because people always have the bullshit excuse of like, oh, I'm just gonna nominate the first two people that fell off. Um, and it looked like a physical HOH. So did Kevin talk about it on the feeds at all? If he purposely threw it, because I think that's a horrible move.
I mean, I don't think he would tell anyone on the feeds, but I think he probably purposely threw it to try to be like, oh guys, I don't really need that, and I definitely think it was a bad move and really backfired on him. And this is what people were talking about pregame. Their worries with Kevin was he's going to throw an HOH, but he's going to make it known to everyone that he's throwing the HOH. I think that defeats the whole purpose. That defeats the whole purpose of like why you throw HOHs. It's because like to show that like you can't compete with people. You can't like keep up with them. Not as in like, oh, I'm just not going to try. You know,
Yeah, and I feel like Kevin's whole thing right now is like, oh, I'm not going to be able to win HOHs, but I'm sure as hell I'm going to be able to win vetoes. Like, I almost won that first one, and
yeah.
I sure as hell won the second one. It's like, okay, so you can't keep me safe by winning an HOH, but you can fuck up my nominations, and if I try and nominate you, so like, why would I want to keep you? Like, why wouldn't I backdoor you? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what they were talking about. They were like, "Oh, Kevin really like fucking kicked it up in that veto competition and killed it, apparently." And they're like, "Yeah, we really like we can't nominate him. We're gonna have to like backdoor him down the road." And like backdooring is the most fucked up thing that can happen to you in Big Brother.
Yeah,
But
and you don't even want to like invite the idea of being backdoored. You want it to be like you want to be a pathetic. That's why, people like Dr. Will and like people who throw competitions, if not just like make them not seem like a threat so they won't be the target, to make
mhm,
it so if they are the target, you'll put them on the block instead of backdooring them. You know what I mean?
yeah, I mean like why give someone the opportunity to win the veto if you know they're like super clutch, like James or Janelle or something like that? If you know that they're gonna like probably win the veto, you're probably gonna go with backdooring them, you know. And so don't put that in people's minds where it's like, oh yeah, I'm not gonna try at the HOH, but I'm definitely gonna try at the veto. That's just not a smart play. I feel like Kevin down the road, long run, if you could have made it through this week, it probably would have been smarter for him to just throw the HOH and throw the veto and stay in the nomination. Try to work the numbers, but it's so early in the game that you can't really know like where the numbers are yet. But I definitely feel like it will hurt him down the road because they'll be like he does like throw these comps and we know he can't win vetoes, so let's just backdoor him.
Yeah. What do you think about Johnny? Because I mean, when I first found out that Johnny and Kevin were the huge targets in the house, I was shocked because like these are people we thought were going to do all right. And like on the feeds, Johnny seems
Yeah.
like he's social and he's talking with people and stuff. So like, what's the deal with Johnny? Is it just like he's a super fan and people are threatened?
Basically, I don't understand either, but basically they're just threatening that he's a super fan. They think he's really smart, and they think I mean, he always talks about how like he meets all these like house guests, previous house guests, and stuff like that. And and I feel like he was really like trying to pull Kevin in, and they were getting afraid of that because like they really see Johnny as the brains in that operation, and like they don't want another like Zanky. I guess everyone was getting afraid about that. They don't want like another Zanky and stuff like that because they really don't want like a power couple like that. But I think that's basically it. I honestly don't know why everyone's really afraid of Johnny, but everyone seems to be like super afraid of him because he's a super fan and stuff like that. Which is weird because there's so many like big super fans in that house, you know?
You just got me really like. I mean, just not even relating to what you just said. Like, you've just gotten me pretty pumped up about Godfrey. I was feeling pretty bad about him, but then you're like, I'm feeling a lot better now because he's kind of just being, he's a have-not now, I think, right?
Yeah,
And
he's been sleeping all day.
yeah,
Which,
he's been
you know,
sleeping all the time, and I mean, if he's just the lazy guy that sleeps around, not talking too much strategy with people, um, I I could definitely see this as like a mastermind thing. I hope it's a mastermind thing from Godfrey. That'd be pretty exciting.
but
But
here's the thing though. I think
yeah,
if Godfrey really wants to make it far, he has to really move away from the whole. I feel like the thing about Godfrey that could be his downfall is he's too much of a guy, and he's really comfortable with Greg and he's really comfortable with Bruno and Bobby and stuff like that. And if he really wants to farther his game, I kind of like separate myself from that whole group, and like try to make bonds with like everyone in the house.
yeah. I I think that yeah, that's true. But I feel like he's okay now, kind of laying back. If he kind of turns on the charm a little bit, like next week, it could
Hmm.
benefit him more. But I don't really like the people like the tryhards. Like Willow, I like Willow, but right now she's just coming off as like such a tryhard. Um, and Jordan a little bit, although Jordan's being like a little more successful at it, I think. But strategically, I feel like there's good. This is what's lacking in Survivor
Hmm.
this season. I feel like there's genuinely like pretty good gameplay going on from a lot of different people.
Everyone like especially maybe it's just because like the beginning of this season or something, like everyone's kind of getting kicked off, like kicking off, and like they don't really know like how they're gonna play their games yet, because situations change like that. But I really like Pele, and I think she's actually playing a pretty solid game right now too. Whereas like when Kevin was able to like report the like all the information back to like the guys, and like the guys were kind of like pissed at the girls and stuff like that. Keely was like never in any conversation. She's really under the radar right now, and I think she's playing a good floater game.
No, totally. I think that and they're not going to have the reason of like, oh, she hasn't been on the block, let's put her up. Like, obviously it's scary that she was almost first out, but I feel like it benefited her because she's off people's radar
Mm-hmm.
for I think for a pretty long time. What do you think about Bobby's HOH reign? Because I've been like seeing stuff with Bobby's like, oh man, I really want to nominate this person. I really want to nominate this person, but I don't want to get blood on my hands. Just like shut up about it then. Like, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
I feel like Bobby just wants other people to make decisions for him, and he just won't take others' advice. And I don't know, he's kind of a pussy. He's not really that great of an HOH. He's kind of just like making lame excuses. I mean, I feel like he wanted Kevin out for a reason. I feel like he was really gunning for Kevin when everyone else in his lines was like, "Oh, go for Godfrey." But he like made a lame excuse of like, "Oh, first out in the HOA competition because I don't want to get blood on my hand, and then I'm putting you, Cindy, up because all the guys are after you and stuff like that." And like, he's not making any like moves for his game. He's just like kind of doing like all this like stupid like no blood on hand shit. And yeah, I don't know. He's kind of a lame HOH.
yeah, I don't like the. I feel like why'd you even try to win HOH if you're just gonna be like, oh yeah, just like I hated last season where it was like a double HOH and then there's like, oh you four people were the first four fucking people off like in the competitions,
Yeah.
and you're all going up on the block. It's just like okay, this is stupid. I know like you wanted safety for the week. That's
Mhm.
fine, but like I feel like Bobby probably like he probably could have been fine if he didn't win
Yeah.
HOH. I feel like why? Like there's no point. And unless
Bobby's
you, I feel like
yeah.
he should have taken out Godfrey if people wanted him out. Just
Yeah.
take out Godfrey.
I mean, Bobby's that classic, meathead where it's like you can easily manipulate him, and I feel like his line's really like Zach's smart enough to know not to win any comps right now. Willow's smart enough to know not to win any comps, but they're still in alliance with him, and like they can easily kind of like feel out like where he wants to go and like kind of like plant little seeds in his mind and stuff. But they don't want the HOH themselves because now he has a huge target on his back and he's being a loser. He's like I think Brittany wanted to talk to him. Like she kept wanting to talk to him. Like Brittany's probably the easiest person to lie to in that house, and he kept avoiding the room. He kept like not going to the HOH room just because she was in it, and like kept avoiding her in the house. And it's just you don't want that from an HOH. You need someone to like. When you're HOH for Bobby, when you're HOH, you're gonna want to like confront everyone and see where everyone's head at. You can't like be all shady like that.
Yeah, I just don't. I don't really like. I just don't like Bobby very much. Um, for fantasy team purposes, I hope he makes it far, but I don't really like him very much. I think that he doesn't bring much to the table. I think that I was watching the live feeds and he's like I kind of feel like he was like teaching everyone how to dance and I was like this is stupid. And then he was talking about how like he was talking about his man cave, like his basement. He's like, yeah, it's just so awesome, and I parties there all the time. Like that's like basically the reason why I haven't left my parents' house. Yeah, I'm just like, get a life, Bobby. Come on. Like
Wait, apparently he's a 26-year-old virgin, which is
he's 20.
surprising.
Wait, he's 26 years old,
Yeah,
and he still lives with his parents, and he's a
yeah,
virgin.
yeah.
Oh, it's so fucking hilarious.
You may be lying about the virgin thing because I think he like told Sydney and Sydney told everyone, but I don't
Well,
know.
either way, like, I
Yeah,
mean,
still lives with his parents. I mean,
still
maybe
lives with
he's
the parents. I mean, come
28.
on,
Also,
28. That's like,
yeah. Also, there's gonna be alcohol. I think there might be a pool party with alcohol on the in the house tonight. So keep your eye on that because that will be fun.
yeah, I heard about that. I don't know if they were talking like they don't know if it's gonna be tonight, but
Yeah,
I'll hop on the live feeds. Hopefully they don't block the live feeds for that.
yeah.
Um,
Fuck that.
hopefully
Yeah,
not.
I want to
They block the
watch
live
like
feeds for everything.
yeah, I want to watch like another character like John. Just get like blackout drunk, make alliances with everyone. Because John was like so much fun on the live feed, and he was like so much fun on the show. I mean, yeah.
I wish I watched the feeds last season. I wish I watched it, but I so far I'm thinking that this is going to be a
Hmm.
pretty good season of Big Brother. Like, I mean, the first week wasn't like crazy or anything, but I like the cast. I like the dynamic. I feel like shit's gonna happen. It's gonna be unexpected. Like, if you were to give me a name about if Cindy goes home this week, like who's going home next week,
Hmm.
I really have no idea.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm definitely excited.
Yeah. So, name three players that you think are playing the best game in the house right now.
Okay, I'd say Sarah, Sarah, Peely, and Zach. I'll give Zach a top three spot, but I really think Sarah. Actually, no. Scratch that. Scratch that. I'll do Sarah, Ashley, and Zach. But I feel
Hmm.
like Sarah and Ashley. Um, I feel like Zach's gonna like. Maybe it's just because he's like a big guy. I think he's playing the best game like
Hmm.
a big, 6'4", six
Yeah.
packed guy can play. But I feel like
He's.
Sarah and Ashley, because they're like smaller, thinner women, they're
Mhm.
in a better position.
Yeah, Zach just seems to have like this way with like people where like they all kind of like want him in their alliance, and it's crazy. And he's just like really trusting and stuff. And I don't know. I really like Zach. Zach's playing like a really good game right now. Obviously that could change next week or in a day or something. But right now he's playing the best game in the house, along with Sarah and probably Ashley too. Or maybe I go with Peely actually.
Yeah, Peely's in my top four, but I feel like Zach is kind of. I feel like Zach, to me, he's Zach on the inside, but like John didn't really know how to play the game, and it unfolded in a way that really benefited him, and he learned along the way. But I feel like Zach is trying to personify, like, oh, I'm just I'm not that smart, kind of similar to John, except for John wasn't really calculated in doing it. But I feel like Zach is actually calculated in it.
Yeah, I feel like John's like goofy and funny and stuff, but Zach's like really like laid back, and he's that guy that people want to keep around because he's like fun to be with. He's interesting. He's like a cool guy and stuff like that, and he really knows that. And he really plays those parts up. But I also feel like he's got a lot more work going on, like in his head, than John does. And Zach is like a really big fan of the game. I think like I don't know. I saw like this like thing on Twitter where like Zach, before he even went on the show, was like calling like Peter like a fucking loser or something like that.
Yeah, I saw
and it's
that.
like
I saw
really
that.
funny. And I was like, oh god, Zach's gonna be terrible. And they got on the show, and I'm like, fuck, Zach's awesome.
Well, speaking of Peter, we talked a little bit about Jordan, and I mean, I'm gonna like admit in the cast assessment, I was tough on Jordan. I thought that he was going to be like really socially awkward and lame, but he's proven to be like much better socially than I thought he was going to be. But I still don't really feel like it's going to pan out for him. I still feel like it's going to blow up in his face because I saw a moment on the feeds where he's talking to Kevin, and their alliance is kind of like bullshit from what I've heard. Like on his end, he's not as tight with Kevin as he is, with Zach. But like he was talking to Kevin, it's like, yeah, everybody's like saying I'm playing the best game, and like, I just don't, I feel like he's the type of person that's really feeling good about himself right now when he should just be like taking a step back.
I mean, I feel like, yeah, he definitely can't get too comfortable in his position because the game can change like in a second. But right now, like he definitely does feel really good in his position, and it kind of reminds me of Sabrina last season, where everyone was like, or like Sabrina, and like people were giving her credit for like actually like cleaning up like all the first five alliance, like getting Michelle to like actually like be Sabrina's HOH and stuff like that, and like Sabrina got too into that, which is like, oh, I manipulated this whole house up to this point, like this has been my game and stuff like that, and like so great and stuff. I kind of definitely get those vibes from Jordan right now, so he just like has to take a step back, I mean, maybe like Zach can bring him back, but who knows?
Yeah, and the thing that I feel like is different from between Jordan and people like Zach and Kevin is I feel like obviously we already saw it with Kevin this week when Kevin's back is against the wall, he's gonna be calm and make it happen. And I feel like Jordan, just my instincts are like, if things go bad for him, he's gonna freak the fuck out.
Yeah.
And I don't know, because I feel like he easily he's really high on his horse right now because things are kind of going perfectly with him now. And he's talking strategy and he's in the zone. But I feel like it's gonna blow up. Like very rarely do you have like a Derek like situation where we the viewers never got to see how Derek performs under pressure, which is amazing. Because it's not even something where I can anticipate. Like I literally have no idea what if Derek would be good or horrible, under pressure. But he didn't have to be. But yeah. I don't think Jordan will have that type of security. I think it's going to get tough for him at some point. Maybe not even for 7 weeks. I think it's going to be earlier than that. But my instincts say that he's not as clutch as people like Kevin are. But hopefully, I'm still thinking he's RHAP fan. I I was wrong about him initially, I still think that there's some potential.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's going to turn out like Derek either because this is also, again, like Big Brother Canada. And I feel like they really want to like shift the game a lot more than like BB like US is afraid to do. I feel like Big Brother like USA is just like, oh, we're gonna like fucking let this game play out. People like this person, we're not gonna mess with it. We're just gonna let this happen. Oh, we're gonna bring the jury member back and stuff like that. And like, I don't know, it's like lame that Derek never like gave himself the opportunity to like actually like be in trouble in the game, and like that wasn't fun TV. But like I feel like Big Brother Canada knows like they want to shake up the game. And I feel like Canada's HOH is like probably gonna like shake up the game like some point if they have it, and I'm interested.
Yeah, I think Big Brother Canada is going to be more unpredictable, and I think we're pretty hard on BB16. Like it was predictable, and not much happened. But like in terms of live feeds, there wasn't that as much strategic talk. But I mean, like the live feeds were pretty. They were pretty funny at times. Like the cast of Big Brother 16, like they were fucking hilarious. Like they were really like funny people. Like just the moment like when when Kathy Griffin is roasting the contestants and says that thing about Zach, like you're not gonna get that from this cast of Big Brother Canada. And
Yeah.
like that's something that Big Brother 16 was able to offer. But Canada is better in like strategy and unpredictability. But like the
Mhm.
BB16 cast was like pretty fucking funny.
Yeah. I agree. I agree. I mean, it would have been nice if some like characters had stayed around longer and stuff like that, because Derek totally just run the game and like looking if you just watch Derek's gameplay, there's some like beauty to it, but it's also really fucking boring. It's a really boring season.
Yeah.
So there's that. But like
And I
I
think
hope it's
yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I hope it's more like Big Brother Canada 2 than BB16. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, me too. And I'm thinking that like just in terms of the cast, going back to just thinking about the cast in general, like I don't know, I feel like the Big Brother 16 cast and like USA casting, I don't know, a lot of the people just like Kevin, Zach, and Jordan, they just kind of fall into similar, they're just but I felt like with Zach and people like Donnie, they were really distinguished, which is why I like Godfrey so much because he's just like a unique cast member. So it would be kind of, and same with Risha, which I'm disappointed. I'm not disappointed that she went out really. I'm just disappointed that she didn't bring as much to the table, because she was an interesting, different, cast member.
Yeah. I mean, I remember when Big Brother Canada 2 was starting up, I watched the first episode and like a Nick left. And it was just like a really boring episode. And I was like, man, like these people aren't really bringing as much to the table as I've seen in like previous like Big Brother US seasons. I hadn't seen Big Brother Canada 1. But like I was watching it and I was like, this is lackluster and stuff. But I keep watching it and it gets like better and better. And I think maybe Canada, editing wise, kind of like stays back from that like whole, playing up like how the characters are and stuff like that, and like kind of just like letting it like giving it to like the viewers like easily, and then they really start like throwing the game in your face. Like with Netta, like we didn't even know Netta was like a huge character on the show until like after the jury.
Yeah, because in Big Brother, in the BB16, like it was the fucking Frankie show
Hmm.
for like a long time, and then they finally like realized that oh shit, like Zach is the television at this time. Like we need to put more Zach on. That's actually what's entertaining. And but like kind of the whole time, most of the time they're like, okay, Dick's the mastermind here, so we'll give him that. But in
Yeah.
terms of entertainment, they really switched from like Zach being invisible to them being like, oh shit, we need to show more Zach. But I feel like Big Brother Canada, they're like, okay, we're gonna like funnel, like we can do really broad, everybody gets some airtime, and then funnel it, and then really try and find, our plot line. Where Big Brother, I feel like, oh my god, this is the story of the week. This is the story of the week. We're just gonna
Yeah.
do this.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely looking forward to the edited episodes.
Uh-huh.
Uh, but hopefully, even if Cindy goes home this week, which looks like it's going to happen,
Hmm.
um, even though I'd be sad because she's on my fantasy team, I wasn't expecting anything more than 16th from her, so she got me a
Uh-huh.
veto win. So I'm happy about that, and hopefully we have a good week. But I'm excited. I'm excited for Big Brother Canada. I'm excited for the live feeds. Being
Hmm.
able to watch those. I'm just pumped. Hopefully Godfrey's the mastermind.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I'm pumped. Everyone should watch it. It's gonna hopefully be a great season. A lot of people like it already. And I don't know. I guess I'll see you back here at this time next week.
Well, yeah. Anybody who's like, oh my god, like Big Brother Canada, like, it's kind of hard to watch, but like it's really really easy to watch, and it's really easy to watch the live feeds also. You just need to
Yeah.
like you just need to get the right stuff, and, but don't let that discourage you from watching because like it's awesome.
Yeah. All right. Well, this is a
Yeah,
good first podcast, and
another another great podcast.
yeah.
Okay, see you later, dude.
Okay. See ya. Take care.